Welcome back, friends, fellow meat enthusiasts, to the Steak Wolf channel. We're always trying to up our meat cutting and cooking game and sharing our findings with you. Today, once again, we're doing our favorite type of video. It's a steak experiment video. We've narrowed down our top 10 steaks from all over the cow, boneless steaks only, to avoid semantics. Is a ribeye or a bone-in ribeye better? We're just going boneless today. And here are these 10 steaks that we're trimming, cutting, cooking, trying, and at the end, we'll put in order of what we think is number one, the king of the boneless steak, all the way down to number 10, which, should be an honor just to make the top 10 list. Sirloin flat meat, also known as bavette steak. Outside skirt steak. Picanha or sirloin cap. Sirloin steak. New York strip steak. Ribeye steak. Tenderloin or filet mignon. Denver steak. Chuck eye steak. Flat iron steak. Sirloin flat meat, heavily underutilized in my opinion. One of my favorite steaks for sure. That's why it makes the top 10 easily. It's very comparable to skirt steak. It's, I think, undersold because of the name flat meat. Not a lot of people know what that is. It's called bavette steak in France. That's probably a better name for it. This is what it looks like here. Just going to trim up the outside lightly. It reveals the beautiful texture of the steak. It's a good, thick piece of flat meat. So we're going to taste our steaks in the order we presented them and trim them just to keep from there being any confusion. And then we're going to rank them 1 through 10. What is the best steak? Starting with sirloin flat meat. I love sirloin flat meat. That is such a beautiful cut. Against the grain, just like this. Let's give it a shot. As I said, underutilized cut. Amazing. Very similar to skirt steak, again, as I've said. If you see flat meat on sale on a good price, get it. Most of the time, it's about $5 to $7 cheaper than skirt steak. So it's hard to ignore this. To me, this steak has that superpower because it eats like a steak out of its value zone, like one of the more expensive steaks. So sirloin flat meat, I've got nothing to compare it to yet. I'm trying to come into this with no past judgments and just do it based on today. Steak number 2, outside skirt steak, particularly outside, not inside, because it is tastier. We still got the membrane on. We're going to trim it all the way. You start by removing that by hand, easiest way. Look at that gorgeous texture the skirt steak is known for. And when you cut this to eat, you always cut it against the grain. You want to go across it. Number 2, skirt steak. Sirloin flat meat, it's very good. We've done at least 2 comparisons with skirt steak on the channel because it is so close in taste and texture. If you've had it before, let me know in the comments below. Let's get into steak number 2, our skirt steak. Just making it manageable size, cutting with the grain. But then I'm going to turn it to the side, cut against the grain. That's how you get a nice, very tasty skirt steak. Very popular for a lot of Mexican dishes, fajitas, tacos, what have you. I think it's good as a steak, period. That's good. Very easy to get a nice sear. It's thin. It cooks up fast. I mean, I'm back and forth. The flat meat's cheaper, so I want to say I like it better. But then, just the ease of cooking this sometimes, I'm like, no, skirt steak's better. I don't know. It's a tough decision. And I sound like I'm contradicting myself if I change my mind every time I have it. But today I'm a skirt steak guy. Last week I was a flat meat guy. So I'm putting the skirt steak at the head of the pack right now. Flat meat number 2. For steaks number 3 and 4, we've got picanha, also known as the sirloin cap, and then the sirloin itself. We've got a big thick piece here. It's real easy to separate. There's just a little membrane there. Peels right off, really. So you have your picanha, which is known for that nice fat cap here. That's going to grill up nice. Very little work to do to that one. Just going to take off this membrane on the one side. Third steak we're doing today, picanha. Our sirloin cap, also known as picanha. You really want to try a piece with that nice fatty edge, because it's pretty lean here, but then fatty there. Such a good piece of meat. Looking forward to this. Whereas the first two are so similar to each other, it's different. Nice little change. Hard to not love that steak. Wow. This is going to be so hard to give you definitive answers on what ranks where, because I had a hard time with 1 versus 2, so I went with skirt steak this time. Flap meat. If I'm being honest, any one of them could take the #1 spot. They're all nailing it. The texture is different. I would guess most people would prefer the bite of a skirt steak better than a picanha. And because skirt steak and flap are so similar for that reason, by the slimmest of margins, I'm saying skirt, flap, picanha so far. So for the sirloin, we don't need this whole big piece. We're cooking all these other steaks. Just going to clean this up a little bit. And we got ourselves a sirloin steak. So the way we cut this sirloin, some people call it a baseball steak, some people call it a sirloin filet. It's just a specific part of the sirloin because it's such a big steak. Again, attached to the picanha. Let's see how it compares. Make this real easy for you guys. That's a quality steak. I'd eat it anytime, anywhere. Even though it's so close in proximity to the picanha, it's nowhere near it. That fat on the edge really kicks that into high gear, where that's just kind of, yeah, it's a steak. I'd eat it. Definitely out of these 4 so far, that's #4. For our 5th steak, we're doing the New York strip. Got a nice thick piece here. It's got some decent marbling. Just going to split this in half and it's good to go. Moving on to steak #5, an old classic, the New York strip. Moving into the loin of the cow. A little more traditional where you get your steak meats. Let's check it out. Nice lean piece with some good intermuscular fat. A little bit of fat on the edge. Let's give it a shot. I will say, on that last steak, not all sirloins are created equally, but this strip was much better than that. Now, I think a lot of you would put this right to #1 out of what we tried so far. Not for me, and I'm surprised I'm even saying this. Skirt, flap, picanha, strip, sirloin. That's where I'm at so far. For our 6th steak, we have a ribeye. Now, right now, it's got the bone on it. I'm going to remove that, keeping this an equal test all the way around, so we don't get into semantics of a ribeye, a bone-in ribeye, a tomahawk ribeye. I want to avoid being redundant, like a T-bone versus a strip, so no bones. We'll take the bone off. So I'm just going to cut a couple of nice boneless ribeye steaks off the chuck end here. On our online poll, about 70% of you said this was your favorite steak. Very recognizable with the cap, the ribeye. It's an awesome steak. It's a great go-to. I like to try other cuts just because they're all interesting to me. I like to eat the cow all the way from the beef tongue to the oxtail. There are delicious dishes in all those cuts. Ribeye, though, is like the no screwing around. Let's just eat an awesome steak, especially the spinalis dorsi, the ribeye cap. Very sought after piece of meat. Let's cut into it and try it out. I want to make sure I got some of that cap. Let's try it. Melt in your mouth, good. Maybe predictable. That's #1. Ribeye 1. Just that soft texture, that spinalis, the juiciness of it. It's everything you want when you eat a steak. It really is. The richness, skirt and flap, close second. It's not. I'm not saying they're miles apart, but I can definitively tell you, ribeye number 1 on this list so far. For the 7th steak we're going to try, we've got some already processed filet mignon or beef tenderloin. What's the issue? Not a fan of the fillets? We cheated on that one? We didn't process? Okay, okay. Well, maybe we'll put some B-roll footage where we do a tenderloin. In our online poll, this was the one that mopped up the survivors behind ribeye, filet mignon. Let's give it a shot. Have you guys tried all these before? Is there any you think or disagree with me on? Let me know in the comments below. Fillets are typically one of the most expensive cuts on the cow, if not the most expensive. You would think that stands to reason they're better, but they are leaner, but they're so good even without that fat content because of the texture. It really is a unique thing on the animal. We're going to give it a shot, give an honest opinion. Oh my God. Good enough that I'm tempted to just eat a second bite, but I got more steaks to eat still. Oh man. I might have to go back and consult the ribeye and try it side by side. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Ribeye. Filet. What do you think's better? Let me know in the comments, guys. Ribeye. I'm glad I did this. That rich ribeye flavor and that fat is something else. But texture superiority. Oh my God, that's hard. That's a tough one. By the slimmest of margins, the ribeye keeps the crown. Filet number 2, then your skirt, then your flap, then your picanha, then your strip, then your sirloin. Let's see if I remember all this at the end. For number 8 and 9, we've got a Denver steak and our chuck eye. These two are actually attached. This is off the very front of a chuck roll where you get your chuck roast from. The chuck eye connects right up to the ribeye. We're just going to separate that out and cut them into steaks. It's just a thin little layer here separating the two. You barely got to use a knife, if at all, and it peels right out. You want to make sure you don't leave that cap of the chuck eye behind. We removed the chuck eye. We're left with the Denver steak. It's kind of a good segue because the one after this is actually the flat iron. This is a small piece of flat iron still attached to that piece of chuck. The chuck and the shoulder claw are connected. I got a bigger piece off the shoulder claw where the flat irons come from. We're processing next for number 10. So this little extra piece here, bonus flat iron. We'll put it with our flat iron. And we'll get this Denver steak, also known as a boneless short rib if you cut it that way. Just get it nice and cleaned up. Number 8, the Denver steak. I'm pretty familiar with this, had it plenty of times. I'm a fan. How's it stack up to the rest? Let's find out. Steak's got beautiful marbling, beautiful texture. That chuck flavor is actually excellent. One thing to watch out for when cutting your Denver, the grain, much like on a tri-tip, switches direction. So you also switch direction to cut against the grain. Denver steak. Flavor-wise, on point. I believe if I didn't just eat a filet and a ribeye, I'd be celebrating this. Oh man. But the chew, because I did just have those amazing steaks, a little much. Unfortunately, guys, I'm going to have to rank the Denver. Bring the sirloin back in. It's at the bottom. I just don't know how far. Denver's dead last place. I'd still eat it. It's still a good steak. Once again, curious to know, have you had a Denver steak? Let me know in the comments what you think. Here's our chuck eye. Ribeye, number 1. This is so similar, I got to call it number 2. If ribeye beats filet, I have to say chuck eye beats filet. And it might be one of those skirt steak flat meat things where that could change based on the occasion. But I know it sounds crazy, guys. Chuck eye number 2, just based on what I'm experiencing right now. So let's get into our flat iron. We got this silvery piece on top, and each piece off the shoulder club like this has technically 2 flat irons. We're going to take the silver off the top, off the bottom, and out of the middle. Oftentimes at grocery stores, you see this cross cut with that silver in the middle. We're not going to do that. We're going to do it the correct way today. Take some of this heavy fat first, makes it easier. On the tapered end, you find where this little silver piece starts. You follow that as a guide to separate the 2 steaks. Now, you don't want to go too close to it. I know it shows good, craftsmanship to do so, but you'll end up with both silver on both sides and doing a lot more trimming than you need to. So I give it a little buffer zone. I ride well on top of it when I remove it. So I got a little close there, bringing some with me. This just creates more work for yourself. So off of each shoulder claw, you get 2 flat iron steaks. Number 10, the flat iron. Holds a special place in my heart because I was very impressed when I cut up a shoulder claw to find that this quality of steak comes out of the shoulder. Let's check it out. It's a good lean steak. You don't want to overcook it. Texture is very nice. I mean, it is, honestly, because of the cost usually, you usually get these pretty cheap. One of my favorites. Never lets you down. I'd really like to know, have you had a flat iron steak? A lot of people haven't. Oh yeah. Impressive. Let's see, I got 10 steaks to keep an order of in my head here. If I recall, ribeye number 1, chuck eye number 2, filet number 3. Number 4 was skirt. Number 5 was flap. Number 6 might have to be, I don't know. It's a tough one. Let me bring back the New York strip and see where it jockeys for position against the flat iron steak. I can tell you it beat the sirloin. I can tell you it beat the Denver. So just above the New York strip was Picanha. Here's the New York strip. Man, it might beat the flat iron by a little bit. But the fact that you usually get the flat iron, I don't know, $8-9 cheaper a pound, it just tells you what a quality product that is. Don't sleep on the flat iron. But if I'm going just off taste, yes, the New York strip beats it. So those are 10 steaks that are a good top 10 list on anybody's list. Then we've got a bonus number 11. One that I've never actually had before. I've known of its existence. It's not such a good secret anymore. It's another cut off the shoulder. It used to be considered a secret cut. The Terrace Major steak. Got it right here. Already extracted from the shoulder. Just going to remove very little here. Just a little bit of silver on this thing. I've heard some good things about it. Never had one. Usually when I get a shoulder clawed in places I've worked, it's already been removed because it is so sought after. To avoid mistakes, I wrote it down. Number 1, ribeye. Number 2, chuck eye. Number 3, filet. Number 4, skirt. Number 5, flap. Number 6, picanha. Number 7, New York strip. Number 8, flat iron. Number 9, sirloin. Number 10, Denver. But we got a surprise guest. as I mentioned. The Terrace Major, also off the shoulder. It's kind of like a magic part of the cow, I think, because it produces mostly roast like meat, but then has these hidden steaks within there. I've never had a Terrace Major. I've heard good things. I'm not going to sensationalize. I'm going to give you an honest take. Let's see. I can tell you it feels nice. I can tell you it looks nice. You can see that for yourself. Ooh, oh, look at that. That looks amazing. And hey, I'm like a kid in a candy store because I've never had this. Last time I could say I didn't have a cut of meat. I don't know, man. It's been a long time, been some decades. Let's see. Have you ever tried a Terrace Major? Let me know in the comments below. I'm going to see what I've been missing all these years. That's it. That's it. That's it. So clearly I wasn't being honest there when I said I wouldn't sensationalize. I was a little dramatic. It's good. It's very good. If I had to compare it in closeness to another steak, I love the flat iron. It beats the flat iron. It beats the strip. Top 5 material all day. I dare say it's right behind the filet. If you were actually to get a shoulder clawed and process it and you get this thing, you've paid very little for like filet-like meat. I'm going to say ribeye still the king. I know, I wish I had some like revelation for you that it wasn't. I'm going to say chuck eye's right behind it because it's so close to ribeye. Filet behind that. Terrace Major, number 4. I am impressed. I can't believe I've never had that before. I may never have it again. I didn't think it existed for a while. I started to think it was a myth. But anyways, guys, I would like to hear from you and know, how would you rank these steaks if you've had them? If not, just rank the ones you had. Let me know. I'm really curious. And I'm giving you an honest take here because not all of this is what I expected it to be. I'm going to tell you based on my experience right now. In the past, I've liked flat meat better than skirt. In the past, I've liked tenderloin better than ribeye. It goes back and forth based on that individual piece of meat. So this is how it ended up today. I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on the whole thing. And I hope this was useful to you. Maybe you're going to choose what steak you're going to eat tonight. Well, anyways, guys, if you found value in this video, give us a thumbs up. That really does help us out a lot. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell to see what we're up to next. Thank you for watching. Sincerely.